She sure did. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do here in Everglades City because the storm surge actually damaged part of the school here serving the community. I caught up with Liza Wells, who rents a home in this community. She and her landlord are working hard right now to clear everything out of the house. That includes removing drywall and insulation where mold grows very quickly after a flood, and it's pretty hard work. She says she's thankful for the help, but she's worried about how her students are going to cope.
So we'll just have to see. So, because so many people lost so much more. And then you don't know how little kids can handle that. You know, what they do inside and how they get that out. And now we lost the gym, so like they can't do PE. You know,
And like she said, they lost part of the gym here due to the storm. They lost part of an art room. So they're going to have to deal with the challenge of where they're going to put the kids once schools resume next week. Coming up on Wink News at 5, I followed along with a family that just got back from evacuating to Georgia. We got a first look at what the damage looks like in their home. Live in Everglades City, Channing Frampton, Wink News Now.
Channing, we'll see.
I did, yeah. They just got back from Georgia today, which is where they evacuated to before the storm hit here. One woman I talked with, she's lived in this community since she was 3 years old. And now she and her family, like their neighbors, are starting that process of taking the stuff that was damaged in their homes and bringing it out here to the side of the street. For the first time, Cindy Cifuentes and her family see inside their home left behind in Everglades City.
We don't have electricity in our house, and right now it says we can't live in it.
After making the trip back from Georgia, this is the mess they have to come back to. Leaving wasn't easy.
It was kind of frightening at first because this is the hometown where you grown up. This is the only place you ever known.
Now, signs are posted outside. Enter at your own risk. The whole family has these protective masks, including 13-year-old Rayvon.
I think it's going to be tough, a little. It might be hard.
I asked him how this compares to the town he and his family left over a week ago.
When we came down here, I knew it was going to be bad.
But much like their neighbors, this family says they'll get through it together because this is home.
So we didn't want to really go through all of this, even though it's where we grew up.
And as you can probably imagine, there are a lot of medical and health concerns in this community with all this cleanup going on. Just down the street from here at the Everglades School, there is a medical team set up to help people with their health concerns. Coming up on Wink News at 6, hear from that medical team on just how far they traveled to get here just to help this community. Live in Everglades City, Channing Frampton, Wink News Now. Across the street from the Everglades City School, where throughout today medical professionals were set up helping people with their cuts, with their wounds that can easily get infected by this debris, which is just covered in bacteria. I talked with one man who's traveled all the way from Pennsylvania and is working around the clock to keep people safe. Before you can even get into school in Everglades City, boots have to be washed to keep this toxic mud outside.
County Health Department and the State Health Department realized that there was a need down here. They needed some extra medical support.
Russell Beanick traveled all the way from Erie, Pennsylvania. He and a team of about 17 are working to keep people here healthy. I asked him what medical issues they are taking care of.
Boy, there's a huge variety. There's a lot of medical issues, just general medical problems with diabetes or medication issues, but the majority of them are wound management.
Though the power is back on in this community, there is still a lot of danger in the form of mold and mud filled with bacteria covering everything the storm surge touched here during Irma.
we're going to really have to move out and clear all the furnishings.
Liza Wells is a teacher at the school in Everglades City. She's working hard with her landlord to get the home they rented back to livable conditions. She has this message for those who weren't as affected by the storm.
I want them to realize that losing their electricity for a couple days isn't that big of a deal.
And as the community rebuilds and neighbors help neighbors, Beanick says they'll stay as long as they're needed to help.
It's because there's a need. There's a huge need, and the people here are just so grateful. And to see that, even when they're suffering, has been really personally rewarding.
And I asked him, how does this disaster area compare to others that he has served throughout the years? And he said, this place, Everglades City, it's one of the worst, and he's been to places like Haiti after their massive earthquake. Live in Everglades City, Channing Frampton, Wink News Now.
Wow, that's saying a lot. All right.